All right, I am getting the cards out, but while I'm getting these cards shuffled, I wanted to talk to you about some of the things that are just already like clicking here. So whenever I was getting set up, they had me grab a couple crystals and make a little portable simmer pot. I don't know if you know about my little portable simmer pot. It's so cute. Anyway, so the herbs that they wanted me to incorporate were turmeric, allspice, rosemary, and cantaloupe seeds. Not the fruit, the seeds. And then the crystals that they were bringing to my attention was prehnite, green chalcedony, I'm looking at them, green calcite, and angel aura rose quartz. So I'm wearing the prehnite, and then I have these three here. I'm actually going to be sending you this green calcite because I really think that you could use it right now. So before I can really know why they're wanting me to bring this to your attention, I need to look at the cards. But just off top, I'm thinking like heart chakra. Like all of this is making me think of the heart chakra. So once we've done the reading, we will get back into those crystals and herbs. I'm not quite sure why they're bringing them to my attention right now, but I think it's heart chakra, and I have a big thing typed out for you that has the metaphysical uses of all of these things that I'll be sending you with the reading. So we are conversing with a pretty big deal. The card that came out was the Wheel of Fortune reversed. That is the spirit guide. So we're talking to the spirit of bad luck and bad tidings, but don't get scared of that because it's on its way out of the door. The wheel's always turning. We will always, you know what I mean? Like you're going to have your ups, you're going to have your downs. So don't be scared of the Wheel of Fortune reverse. But what it's here trying to teach you right now is regulation and ruling, kind of how to step into your masculine energy. It's the emperor reversed. So if we can get that emperor to flip over, then the wheel will also flip. Would you say that you've been like having bad luck lately, or like maybe just not a good go of things, or maybe things have felt unjust? Because justice is also on the board, but we'll get there in a minute. I just realized this is all major arcana. There is not a single minor arcana on the board. This is a big reading. Okay, so we know that we're conversing with the Wheel of Fortune reverse. So this is the spirit that comes around whenever things are not going in your favor. Now, the reason, like the nature of this relationship, the reason that they're here right now is the Fool reversed. So what that's telling me, whenever the Fool's upright, you're like doing, you know, on the track you're supposed to be on. It's exciting, it's spontaneous, you're new. But whenever it's reversed, it's like you're being kind of naive to the way that it works. Like you don't quite have the understanding that you think you do. I would compare it to like a child thinking that they understood how bills worked. You know, like, yeah, they see their parents do it. They think they get it, but they don't really. So it's just kind of a naive energy. But what I'm picking up on intuitively is you kind of started doing something that maybe your intuition had told you a couple times not to do, but you did it anyway. And that's why the wheel flipped. So how they try to communicate with you is the Death card. They put an ending to stuff. Like whenever this spirit comes around and you're starting up something that you maybe shouldn't be, they're not going to let you figure this out on your own. They just stop it. So if things are just not working out, that's why. That spirit's, they're like, nope, we're not doing this. I don't know why they're so protective of you like that. It's almost like a big sister or big brother kind of energy. After I had laid these cards, I pulled some oracle cards. Like I hadn't even looked at them yet, but I just, you know, intuitively knew where to set them and stuff. So the oracle card that came out with that Death card was this one, which is a new world is born. So yeah, they're definitely coming in. They're cutting out things that aren't supposed to be there, and they're doing their best to place the things that are supposed to be there in front of you. And I think green is a big key to that. Once again, we got a lot of green on this card. So messages that you may have missed. The card that came out, well, we got another oracle. It's the Golden Phoenix. It says something you thought finished burst back into life. And the card that was also next to it was the Emperor reversed. And I think I mentioned this a bit earlier, but some of what the spirit is here to teach you is how to step into your masculine authoritative energy. And I want to really explain what I mean by that. Okay, so there is a difference in saying, I want to go to Panera, and saying, I'm going to go to Panera at 3:30. I'm going to get there this way. I'm going to pay with this card. I have budgeted and I know that I can allot this much money for it. There's a difference. And I think that a lot of what this spirit is trying to teach you is how to step into that. I'm going at 3:30. I am paying this way. I am going with these people. This is what I want. This spirit really wants you to become proactive. So the card for what they're proud of you for is the Magician. And what I'm picking up on that is that they are proud of the way that you can, it's almost like a MacGyver, like they are inspired by your ingenuity whenever you are creating. Some of the things that you can put together, like it kind of astonishes them, like they never would have thought to use those two things. Like what I'm kind of hearing in my head is like, I would only think that 2 + 2 = 4, but she knows that 3 + 1 and 1 + 1 + 2. Like they're very amazed at how you can make things work. But while they're proud of you for that, I think that's also part of the lesson. Like, I think sometimes it would just be easier to do 2 + 2, and they're trying to put it in your face to like say what you want and really make sure that what you were calling in is what you were wanting. You know, like, I can say all day long that I want to be successful, but saying I want to be successful in a certain area and then making steps to make sure that I become successful in that area, that's the kind of energy that I'm getting. It's kind of like, I'm amazed that she can do that, but I wish she didn't have to. Like, it could be easier if we could just get more in tune with like demands, like vocally demanding is what I'm hearing in my head. They just really want you to say what you want, and I think they also want you to make sure that you want what you want. All right, so now we are to the message from this guide, and I have recorded this like 6 times because I just cannot say it correctly. I'm going to do my best here, so bear with me. I've got the 3 cards from the tarot, and then I also got the 3 oracle cards, and they both are kind of definitely validating what I think this message is saying. So what I'm gathering here is, okay, I don't know, have you ever seen Good Omens? It's a show on Amazon Prime. It's also a book by Neil Gaiman. Well, in the book, there's, you know, this angel and this devil, and like they're trying to follow out hell's commands and the Lord's commands, but ultimately they kind of see like where things are messed up and they don't want to do it. So a phrase that they said is, I follow hell as far as I can, and then I take my own side. And I think that that is a good little metaphor for what this message is about. So the message here, and it's reflected both in this Hierophant reversed and in this protection card, is I want to say it's church. Oftentimes the Hierophant is like an organization like church or school, somewhere that you're supposed to kind of like be doing, you know, there's rules to follow for you to be in that group, right? What I'm gathering is that there's something that you're trying your hardest to conform to, but it's limiting you. And I think that phrase, I follow it as best as I can, and then I take my own side, would really do you a lot of help. The protection card is essentially saying that, you know, a lot of times we come into this life and we get wounds from being who we are. We get rejected, our feelings get hurt, we get ashamed and embarrassed and outcasted even sometimes. This card really does kind of have an essence on being like maybe a witch or something in spirituality that maybe your family doesn't approve of or your friends don't approve of or something like that. So we hide it a little bit. But this card is here to be like, no, look, you are sacred and you are protected, and you can be you. You don't have to feel scared. You're safe. Your guides are there. There are people in the spirit world that have got your back. And part of what you came here to do was to kind of be an agent of change and show people that like, look, we can do this differently. But if you were trying to conform, then we can't be making the changes. So the divination card came out reversed. And whenever this card comes out reversed, that is a little bit of your guide's way of saying, hey, we need to chill a little bit on asking questions and just kind of like marinate in the answers that we've been given for a little bit. There's also this aspect to the card though of there's more divination than tarot. There's scrying, you can divinate in smoke, you can divinate in water, there's bone casting, there's so many different ways that you can do divination, right? And what I'm really feeling called to for you is numerology. I think that they maybe want you to start looking into numerology. Have you looked at like your life path number? I'm pretty sure my website has a Pythagoras, I call him Math Daddy because his name's hard to say, but I do have a calculator that'll give you your life number. All right, the last card that I want to talk about on that one is the Veil, and that came out after this divination card, and I think it's just kind of piggybacking off of it. It's letting you know that, hey, look, it's okay. Go ahead and resonate on what you've been told. There's going to be more information coming to you in a very unexpected way soon, and whenever it happens, everything's going to kind of click. So, I mean, all in all, the ultimate big message here is that they're really proud of like your self-starter energy and how you can make things work, and I think they're just amazed by you, honestly, is the vibe that I'm getting. But they really are hoping that you'll step out of that conforming energy and step into more of being vocal on what your wants and needs are. And that once we can kind of step into that masculine energy a little bit, that the wheel's going to flip back over and justice is going to be in your favor and things will start working out accordingly. So that kind of concludes the reading, and now I want to hop back over to those crystals and herbs that we were talking about in the beginning. I'm wondering if you are in a state of grief right now. Like, there's a lot of emphasis on your heart chakra and on your heart health, and I'm just wondering why. Why do we need to do that? So I'm going to pull some cards about it. Okay, so the cards that I pulled to look into like why do we need to heal the heart chakra? For one, we got this one, which is You Are Sacred. This card's very face value. It is just a reminder of how sacred you are and to treat your temple the way that, you know, you would want to treat yourself the way that you would treat someone that you love. A lot of times we don't give ourselves the same treatment that we give others. So it's just a gentle reminder there. The other card that came out is this one. It says, a crisis will allow you to look into yourself and make an important revelation. Now, what I'm gathering from these cards, as well as these cards, is that something happened in a relationship. I don't think it was a romantic relationship. I think it was childhood, like maybe an aunt or a mother or a grandmother, something like that. And I think like you had some expectations that were not met, and it caused you to feel like this kind of stuff just doesn't happen for you. Like, I'm going to throw an example out there. Like, you were really hoping that there was going to be pepperoni on the pizza, but grandma made sausage, and it got into your subconscious, and it's like, I think it caused some grief and anxiety over things that you might not even be aware about, and we need to clear the heart chakra out. I've got the chakra cards here, and I'm gonna get a card for us and see what they recommend that we do about this. All right, thank you. So we got secondary chakra of nutrition and responsibilities, which is connected to your solar plexus and your heart chakra. And then we got a seventh chakra, your crown. So this says, I only need to open myself to the creative force in order to solve all of my problems. And this one says, trust in the strong foundation upon which my happiness in life rest. Okay, so you remember earlier I was talking about they want to make sure that you are being vocally demanding and that you want what you want. You know, sometimes we think we want something, but we don't really. That's what this card is talking about as well. It is saying that the creative force will pretty much grant any wish that you want, but not instant gratification and not stuff that is not aligned with your path. Whenever this card comes out, we need to take a look at where we're wanting to go and really make sure that what we're doing is going to get us there. And this card is kind of just like a little last message from your guide. So this card is coming out to talk about how it's really good whenever we can learn to trust ourselves, learn to trust our guides, learn to trust the earth. And once that is established, you can look back and see all the places that the creative force or spirit or source, God, whatever you want to call it, has protected you. So that grief that we were talking about, you know, whatever happened that kind of devastated you and made you lose a little bit of faith and trust, ultimately happened because that was not what you were supposed to be aligned with. And, you know, those wishes are not going to be granted. And I think that once you've kind of worked through some of this stuff, you'll be able to look back on that and realize how much of a blessing it was that that didn't work. Okay, so I am going to send you a piece of that green calcite, and whenever you get it, what I would like for you to do is to put it on your chest, like maybe wear a sports bra so that it stays in place, and lay it over your heart and go to bed. Now I want you to let your guides know that you want to meet up with them in your dreams, and whenever you guys get there, you can talk about whatever it is that you need to talk about. Try to do something so that you can remember the dream. I know that whenever I did this, I did it like a year and a half ago. I had my spouse wake me up so that I was able to remember the dream because I was struggling to remember my dreams. I know that should help. In addition, I really think that they want you to do a little bit of meditating with that stone as well, perhaps some journaling. I'm going to get some prompts, for some journal prompts, and I will include them in the message that I send with this, as well as that information on the herbs and crystals. As always, thank you so much for trusting me with your energy. I adore you. I hope you have a wonderful day. Stay magical.